Hey everybody, glad to have you with me today. I'm going to be talking about a really fascinating new lip product in this video. In fact, if you've watched my videos over the past couple of weeks, you might have seen me mention this product from Marc Jacobs. It's called the Liquid Lip Crayon, and I discovered this at first in my little Sephora sampler collection called Give Me Some New Lip. So I was trying on all of those new lip products, and I was just blown away by the texture of this. What we have here is kind of like a jumbo lip crayon. I mean, it's obviously thicker than a lip liner, but it's not super massive. In terms of applying this to your lips, I actually feel like I have more precision than I do with a typical lipstick, and this shade here is even worn down quite a bit. This is Night Mauves or Night Mauves. This is the one that came in that little sampler set, and I have used it so much since. And what's fascinating about the product is that it practically like melts into your lips. They call it a liquid lip crayon, and it's not because this takes on the texture of a liquid lipstick or is really comparable to what you know from a typical liquid lipstick, but it's that it goes on your lips with this lightweight kind of melting into your lips liquefied state. It's really, really unique, and I have felt absolutely nothing like this before. It says liquid lip in a stick, one swipe color, 16-hour luxe long wear, which we're going to chat about that a little bit more. It says melts into lips with a lightweight liquid sensation, providing bold one swipe color. A dose of innovative ghost pearl adds subtle dimension for a never before seen finish. So I don't know if you can tell like by the shade I've got on my lips right now, there is like a little bit of a sheen to it. I wouldn't call any of these like frost, but I chose this particular shade to have on throughout the video because I thought it presented the maximum sheen out of all 10 colors. And this is the color called Send Nudes. Now the interesting thing about these products is they go on your lips, they do have that kind of melt down, very thin liquid feeling as you're putting them on. Like they're light as air, but they're liquid. And then you'll notice as you wear them a bit, there is a bit of a dry down that happens. I wouldn't say they feel drying on my lips whatsoever, but instead of feeling quite so slick, this is a really odd description, but it feels more like your actual lips. Very weightless, but in a different sense than when you first put it on and it was almost like wet feeling. Having this shade on my lips now for like 15 minutes or so, now it just kind of feels like lightweight, maybe something's on there, but it feels closer to like my natural lip texture. But here's the story with these products for me. Like I said, I got the one shade in the sampler box and I was so thrilled with it. Like just the other day I was perusing the Sephora website and I'm like, I want to get a couple more shades of this because this is truly like one of the best lip formulas I've played with here recently. And no lie, on that very day I got this PR box and it had a lot of different Marc Jacobs lip products in it, but it was mainly sort of celebrating the launch of these crayons. So I've got the little booklet on them. Did not know that was coming, but I'm so thankful because I feel like I can really dive into the collection a lot more and tell you so much more than if I just purchased a few shades here or there, because these are a $26 lip product. Now, talking a little bit about the staying power before I show you all the shades, I feel like this varies a little bit with the intensity of the color you're using, because there is somewhat, I think, of a staining thing that happens here, and the bolder the shade that you have, the more that kind of stain hangs onto your lips. Like Night Mauves, I wore this for a night out the other day. We went to like this big fancy shindig, and I had that color on and I thought it looked gorgeous, but it didn't really like last that well. Through the dinner, I definitely felt like I wanted to reapply afterward, but I think had I been wearing a more intense shade, while maybe that ghost pearl kind of finish might have worn off, there's more of an overall color stain on your lips that comes from those darker ones, so just keep that in mind. And then there are two extremely dark shades in this lineup, and those, as with pretty much any really dark lip color, you have to be very careful with the application. Just getting them to look super even on your lips is a bit of a hassle. Even with this formula, you know, it still feels like this liquid, super lightweight thing going on your lips, but you have to watch those shades a bit more. But everything else was just super easy, like about as easy as it gets for any kind of application. And like I said, the one that I've had the longest, I have worn down a bit. Like here's a comparison of what it looks like when you get one new and after you've worn it for a while. And even this, you know, because this isn't a massive stick, this feels pretty precise to put it on. Like I don't feel like I'm lacking really in any way to be able to get that on cleanly. So when you want more product, it is going to twist up from the bottom, and when you cap them, you don't just simply go until you meet some resistance. You actually have a little snap there, and I do think that that's keeping the product really fresh in a sense. I would assume that if these started to dry out, you would really lose lose that instant liquidy type feeling as it goes on your lips. And when you hear me say that, I'm not meaning like it's uncontrollable liquid or anything like that, but it's just like the product is melting down on contact, and it's very cool. And if you really did just want to try one of these and that mauve shade appeals to you, it is within a kit of some other things. It's a really great buy, that Give Me Some New Lip kit, if it's still available. And you are getting this product full size in that collection. But enough chit chat now. I want to show you all of the colors going on. So first off, the one I've been talking about most, the Night Mauves, Night Mauves, however you want to say it, it's shade 310. I think this is a super wearable shade just across the board. You know, it's got that bit of pink. You can definitely see what they're talking about with the ghost pearl. Just subtle sheen here. It's absolutely beautiful, and I loved wearing that the other day for a really formal event. Then the color I've been wearing throughout the video is called Send Nudes, and like I said, a little deeper here, kind of a rich tan brownish nude. For me, this is the color where the hint of pearl actually shows up the most, but I love that. I can see myself getting a lot of use out of that shade. And then Burn Notice is a really interesting color here. It's a little bit pumpkiny, but there's a lot of brown in it as well. I think the pearlescent quality in this one goes a little bit toward gold, and it's just an unexpectedly flattering shade. I really like that. And then the next color on the outside, it's gonna look like a real red, and this is called How Rouge. And this one I find to be a very corally kind of orangey red, an absolutely phenomenal statement summertime, springtime type color in my eyes. Next, we're going to get into a string of pinks and berries here. First off, we have Pink Straight, and this is going to be like your lightest, just kind of standard pink. To me, it's a very true pink. There's some coolness in this shade. Not too light, not too dark. I really think it's a fun color, actually. But if you're really going for a true hot pink, the next one, Flamingo is how they write it. It's really bold, definitely just jumps off your lips, and as you can see in the application, as soon as it hits your lips, you're seeing the fullness of the color. There's no building up with any of these shades. Now, one of my personal favorites is this next one, and this is Fram-bois, and this one, it strikes me as kind of a rosy red. It's like you've taken your red, you've mixed in a little bit of pink. I think it's incredibly flattering. I mean, all occasions, any circumstance, any time of year. Now, Plum and Get It has, I think, a really unique effect because the sheen in this, and you'll really notice it if you make the effort to build it up on your lips a bit more, there's almost a bit of a blue tinge to it, and I think it makes it really pretty. Kind of a deep mauve berry color. I absolutely love that one. Now, coming up next, we've got our darkest two shades. One is Merlot Blow. This one is just your dark, rich, murky, kind of purpley plum. It's a really beautiful color, but I just feel like with this application design, you're working off of a pencil type tip. It's maybe not going to come off 100% flawless just with the one go round, you know? You got to take a little time with these deepest shades to straighten them up a little bit, if you know what I mean, and maybe a blot might not be a bad idea. And then your final shade is Blacquer, so you might recognize that shade name from their eyeliner, for example, but it's just a true black. It's a creamy black, and I still recognize in that shade that hint of a ghost pearl, as they call it, that slight, very, very subtle sheen, and I think it makes it maybe a bit more of a wearable black than you might expect, just for having that little bit of dimension. But I really actually like that shade. I think I like the straight up black even better than that dark wine on me. But just to review here, here's our shade lineup. You've got several that I would put in that neutral family, with the mauve to the deep nude and into that kind of pumpkin-y color, your really hot coral shade, some cool pinks going from more of a true pink to a hot pink. I love, love, love the rosy red, and also this berry shade right before we get into the dark wine and the black. So 10 shades total. It's really hard to pick favorites because I love so many of these. I mean, I mentioned the cons too. I think the darkest two, they're a little more high maintenance. But I really love Night Mauves, and also the one I'm wearing now called Send Nudes. And then I think Fram-bois is just unbeatable. You know, that rosy red, it's a nice classic. And Plum and Get It for the berry lovers. I mean, the evenness of color. This is, you know, a deeper shade in terms of the overall color spectrum here, but it goes on so evenly, so rich. If you're all about that kind of color, like, this format is one of the best executed executions of it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this review was helpful. As far as the 16-hour wear claim, like I said, I do question that some, because while you might have a stain on certain ones, certain bold shades that last you a really, really long time, I don't think you're having necessarily the true, like, genuine first color that you put on, unless you did like absolutely nothing, didn't give any kisses, didn't eat any food, didn't have anything to drink. Who wants to be living that life? I don't know, but unless you're completely refraining from using your mouth for anything at all, it's gonna show some wear. But I think the nice thing about this is they're actually a pleasure to put on. They're fun to reapply. I'm not hating on them for that at all, because I think they're a brilliant lip product. And I may not have talked about this enough, but I love the precision that they have. Even a shade that has worn down with quite a bit of wear has a lot of precision and more ease and speed in application, most definitely, than you have with just a regular lipstick. So thanks again, guys. I hope this was useful, and if you've tried these, let me know what your experience has been like, and I will see you very soon. Bye.